Bonjour à tous. Hello everybody, this is Monsieur Spinger, and I wanted to take a minute for you French 2A students to explain direct object and direct object pronouns a little bit, because this section of the class can be a little tricky for students, and particularly the assignment Les Distractions, writing 1E. And so let's go through this a little bit. Where I'm at right now in class, just to be clear, is, let's go up to the top to see, I'm in Les Distractions, Section 1, Part C, and toward the bottom there's this really pretty handy explanation of what direct object pronouns are. And so there's a little writing here, or reading rather, in French, and it's full of direct object pronouns. Let me show you what a direct object looks like in English, and then we're going to talk about what it's like in French, and then finally we're going to go and show you some examples that you can use on the assignment in question here. So in English, if I wanted to say something like, I saw, well, let's use a present tense example, something very simple that we could translate to French, like I eat the hamburger. So we have our subject, that's I, the verb is eat, and then the object of the verb is the hamburger. It's what I eat. And if I wanted to shorten this, let's say I was talking about the hamburger already, I was saying like, I went to the restaurant and ordered the hamburger, and then when I say I eat the hamburger, let's say maybe instead of saying the hamburger all the time, I want to replace it with a pronoun, and that pronoun would be it, right, in English, and we would say I eat it. That's basically what a direct object pronoun is. It's taking the object of the verb, what the thing that's receiving that action, which is the hamburger, and it's putting a pronoun in its place. And in English we use it. Though we could also use him or her if it's an action done to a person, right? So let's talk about this in French. In French we would say je mange le hamburger, right? Pretty simple. And so the same is true. The subject is je, verb is mange, and then the object is le hamburger. But in French, if we want to say I eat it, what we do is we will use whatever the gender is of the noun, masculine or feminine. In this case, it's definitely masculine since it's le hamburger, right? Not la hamburger. And so the le will become it. It means it in this circumstance I'm about to show you. And we would say it like this: je le mange. That's how we say I eat it. So the it, which is le in this case, comes in front of the verb. So that's wacky to us English speakers, so we're used to having the direct object come after the verb. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now let's say I was eating more than one hamburger. I'm really hungry. J'ai faim. Je mange les hamburgers. And now I want to say I eat them. The direct object pronoun now is les, and that means them. So je les mange. There we go. I eat them. It's important to note, though, that the les does not mean them in this sentence. It just means the. But in this context, it has a new meaning. It means them because I'm putting it in front of the verb. So hopefully that makes sense. If you go through this very carefully, it will make sense to you now, I think, if it didn't before. Because you can see things like je le préfère au foot. What does the le stand for? It stands for what you just was talking about. Mon sport préféré est le tennis. Je le préfère au foot. I prefer it, meaning that tennis, over soccer. And there's a nice English translation here. There are some examples down here. And then on the next page, which I'm not going to go through, but there are a few different activities to get you to practice direct object pronouns. So please make sure you do those if you haven't already. Now, when it comes to the assignment writing 1E within Les Distractions, this is tricky to people. So basically what we have is a conversation between Michel and Jean, okay, two boys or two men, and Michel is talking about sports, what he likes to do and whatnot, and he's asking a question, and you have to be Michel, and you have to answer the question using a direct object pronoun. So let's look at the question. So Michel asks, Est-ce que tu aimes le foot? Do you like soccer? So you either hopefully do or don't, and you can answer however you want. It doesn't matter. So under normal circumstances, that's pretty easy to say I like soccer. It would be j'aime le foot, right? And if I don't like it, it would be Je n'aime pas le foot. But we want to use a direct object pronoun here. So, again, we need to figure out what our direct object pronoun is. We always want to look at the gender of the noun and the number. So, the gender of what we're talking about, which is le foot, right? That's what I'm being asked about. It's definitely masculine, right? It's not la foot, but le foot. It's masculine. And then we need to ask ourselves, is it one object or is it more than one? It's just one, right? It's not les foot, but le foot. So, to say I like it, we will use the le, and so it would normally look something like this. Je le aime, right? I like it. Just like the hamburger example I mentioned a minute ago. But in this situation, when we have le in front of a vowel, we make it an L apostrophe. And you've seen that before. Je l'aime. I like it. Now, if I didn't like it, we would do it like this. Je ne l'aime pas. So, the direct object, le, it goes closest to the verb, and the ne pas goes around both of them. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. That's all you're doing for writing 1E, is you're answering 4 questions. You have to use a direct object pronoun. And most of the time it's really easy, because if you look at the question you're asked each time, 3 times out of 4 you're asked whether you like something. Est-ce que tu aimes la natation? Tu aimes le tennis? But the 4th question is a little different. Tu écoutes la musique quand tu joues au tennis? Do you listen to music when you play tennis? So this one, I'm not talking about I like it, I don't like it. I'm talking about do I listen to it? So see if you can figure that one out.